Welcome to Respec Games, where we respect games. This is Tail. This is Polo. I'm Polo. That's Tail. And we are Respec Gaming. Thank you so much for listening to Respec Games. The gaming podcast is brought to you every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Bring you topics, discussion with respect to video games. Tail, how you feeling? Welcome to episode 5, brother. It's been a whole month.
It's been a whole month. There's so much to look back on already. But brother, I'm excited, man. Excited to continue. I think we got a really cool topic today.
Yeah, very interesting topic.
How you feeling the month in?
It's we getting our legs under us still. We working through it. I do love this podcast. I do. I will say that I think I said this to you yesterday. It's hard doing 2 podcasts. It's very, very hard. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. And mostly mentally, exhausting. Because rather, on the contrary to what you may think, it does take a lot of setup, honestly, for this particular podcast. My Check Wi-Fi was a little bit easier. It's a little bit more free form, but this one is a little bit more, damn, I got to make sure I bring something, And it's been fun, though. I do enjoy doing it. I still have to make my video. I'm still behind on that, on what Guild Wars 2 is for the uninitiated and why I fell in love with it and the addictive elements of it. That's still coming. I do want to make that video soon to put it up on Respec. Shout out to Tel for dropping another video carrying a week of content on Respec. And that is that, what is it? What's that game called? It's a PlayStation game.
Yeah, it's a PlayStation 1 game, Dragon Seeds.
Check out Dragon Seeds on the Respec Gaming YouTube channel, youtube.com/@RespecGames. No T. It's a very interesting game, very interesting playthrough. Till got up there. It's an old PlayStation game, it was intriguing to watch for sure. We talked about it last week. It's a very interesting game. Never seen that before in my life though, so I'm glad you did it because I'm like I'd never seen this game.
And I knew it was out there. Yeah. I knew it was. But I remember picking it up for the first time. Like, what is this game? I looked at it front and back. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this the one. I'm playing this one. And I had no idea what to expect until I got home. And ever since I enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's really, really interesting. All right. Now, as we start every episode of Respec Games, we go give our respect to. And for me, my respect is going to go to, and I want to try to not bring up this game every week because I've been playing it so faithfully and of course, without making that video. But honestly, truthfully, I want to give a respect back to the Guild Wars 2 community. Now, in the MMO space and just the internet space in general, the gaming communities of said games are, whether it's Call of Duty, WoW, other MMOs, just other games in general, it's very toxic within the community itself. Other players aren't willing to help other players or just, I don't know. They just seem so angry for some reason. And I don't know why. Unwilling to help and angry. Guild Wars 2 is the total opposite. I showed Tail a little bit earlier before we started recording, but this Guild Wars 2 community not only come together to do all kinds of events because it's a part of the game loop, but they just are willing to help any and everybody at any time. And it's special. They're extremely nice. I mean, you just type in chat, hey, I need help getting up to an area I can't quite get to because I haven't unlocked flying mount yet. Somebody said, okay, I'm on my way with I'm gonna say sometimes y'all don't know, but I'm on my way with a mesmer teleport. That's where a class actually gives you the opportunity to put a portal down. You hop in that portal and it can teleport you basically to anywhere you would need to go. So
that's clutch. Yeah,
it's very, very clutch. So for instance, there's this thing called hero points that you have to collect around the world. And one of them was on top of a castle. I just typed in world chat. I'm like, hey, I need help getting this hero point that's on top of this castle and I don't have access to flying mounts yet. Somebody with their mesmer class came, dropped a portal down, flew up to that spot that I needed to get to, put the portal there. And I just walked in the portal and boom, I got that hero point. And he didn't have to do that. I'm not supposed to get that hero point as early because I'm supposed to get the flying mount first. But it's just the fact that people are just willing to help each other out. Multi-purpose, a guy we game with in our Discord, he even told me about a story where he was working on getting a Griffin mount. And the Griffin mount is a harder mount to get. It's like it's because it's a secret mount. You're not supposed to have it, just like in Log Horizon, ironically enough. but he needs help with a quest, and a guy who is 6 months into Guild Wars 2 decides he's gonna help him with the whole thing, and he walks him through basically each quest and each area and helps him fight each boss with his character, like and just until the point where he has to do one more step before he can get his Griffin mount, and he got it. And it's like, it's supposed to be an 8-hour grind, but with the help of that person, he chopped it down to half. So just shout out to the community for being gracious and nice and welcoming to all the new players that's coming into the game, because that is very rare and few and far between. So they definitely deserve that respect.
But you know what that is? That's love, right? That's the respect they have for the game.
Yeah.
Because I know that people who truly love a game, they love when people who used to play or people who never played come in and they start devoting time to it, because what that means is that they get to have more interactions inside of a game that they love.
Yep.
That's beautiful, bro.
And you want to keep those people here so you can continue to do that group content that the game is so focused on. I can't wait to show you. It's going to be interesting.
So mine with respect is based off of Nintendo's Indieworld. They always do these Nintendo Directs in general, but this Indieworld Direct is always about how independent developers are bringing content to their console, and that stemmed the idea that I wanted to look at indie developers in general and just give respect to those developers and talk about how some of their games are largely impactful. I know I said something about Five Nights at Freddy's before when we were talking about a different topic, and how I said something about indie developers are making games that are kind of revolutionizing the space for these games, and even small companies, small game developing companies who are not AAA studios are producing games that are massive, like Baldur's Gate and things like that in that sort. But I wanted to mention a game that I actually have not played, but a ton of people that I've seen have really devoted a ton of time to it, and it's Balatro, which is essentially a card game that is a roguelike. And essentially, as you're playing the game, you are building your deck. I believe it's poker, or is it backgammon?
Yeah,
it's poker. But it's a poker game where essentially you're building your deck to get the hand that you need. And while I'm not a card aficionado, I've only played poker in real life, in person. I do understand the versatility that, or the mentality it takes to bring this game type to poker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very creative. I played a little bit of it. It's very, very creative.
Yeah, and I do understand that, like, yes, everybody has house rules when it comes to games like Uno or, you know, any other card game you may have. But to turn a game like poker into, I would say this is borderline revolutionary. There are other card games out there that will do very similar things. There's a ton of card games out there, but independent developers continue to push the envelope, in my opinion, when it comes to how to create games and even perspectives on games that one day we may see more AAA game developers want to even work with some of these independent developers and help bolster their ideas and keep pushing the gaming industry forward.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, Balatro was nominated and won quite a few gaming awards last year's Video Game Awards. It's an older game, so rightfully so. It definitely did change the gaming industry last year by like a lot. By a whole lot. Interesting. I got, and this is with respect, obviously, but I got a little bit of beef with Nintendo because I don't like what they do to their players, their people who love their game so much. Unironically, like, there was a speed running tournament going on, and they wanted to use some Nintendo games, as they do almost every speed running, you know, charity tournament that they do. And Nintendo said, now you got to get our permission first. Last minute, right before the tournament goes live. So the organizers of this charity event wasn't able to use certain Nintendo games because they're just sticklers about honestly nothing. This is a charity event. People are just playing your game. Oh, but you're not playing it the way it was intended, so you got to get our permission to do that first. It's I don't like that at all, and it kind of kind of makes me not like Nintendo in general because of stuff like that. Because it's a charity event. It's charity, bro. Like there's no reason to become sticklers for that. I understand if it's like, I don't know. It's even, there's no excuse, actually. I'm trying to think of one for them, but I can't because there is none. Sorry.
And with respect to your opinion and Nintendo, they're known for being that way, right?
It's awful.
They've shut down Smash Bros. Being in certain tournaments because of that. There was a moment where to even record or stream their games, you had to be in a specific Nintendo ecosystem and group where they would take parts of your money revenue, just to stream their games. And the amount of backlash and protests they got from that was huge. And that's also why I think independent developers are so important, because huge companies can get out of hand if you don't have something to keep them in check.
Yeah, man, it's awful the way they do that, man. I don't know. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I know this is all positive, but we have to speak up on Nintendo's bullying when it happens, because it's just not right.
And to be fair, with respect has to be real.
Yeah.
If we're not being real, it's not with respect.
Exactly right. Well, tell them. Well said. All right, moving on to vertical slice. Shing. For me, and I guess for both of us technically, but for me, I actually played something different this week outside of Guild Wars 2. And I played something different.
That's wild.
For a significant amount of time, actually. So this weekend was the Battlefield 6 beta, and I played quite a bit of it. And boy, is it Battlefield's back, baby.
Yeah. What class variation did you play the most?
Support.
Of course. Yeah. It makes sense. I played that a little bit as well. And the recon.
Yeah. I found myself realizing that I am a great vehicle support player, though. Like, I'm not going to be the one driving the tank, but I'll be in that little gun assisting the tank and getting the little ants that crawl around the tank trying to hit it with the rocket launcher. Just mowing them down. It's a blast. I tell you what, okay, there's two things that I absolutely love about it. I love how well it runs. Okay. Now I know I have a very beefy PC, so it should run well. But for a game to look this good, to have so much going on, to be running at 120 frames per second with ease on max settings is spectacular. For one, that's one. Two, I will say that the sound design is probably the best shooter sound design I've ever seen in any video game ever. And that's counting all the other Battlefields. They added something called I forget what it's called, but it's like an immersive sound mode. And I just turned that on. And when I tell you it, and probably because I'm using very expensive IEM headphones and the whole little sound setup I got going on here, I sound like I'm in a motherfucker. Like I'm in war right now. And it was just chaos and explosions everywhere. And it just sounded wonderful with the sound direction and an explosion into my back left ear. You can hear it in the back left corner. You turn around and you see a building falling down. It was spectacular. I had so much fun playing this beta. It was so good.
Now, while my headphones might be as expensive as Polos, my sound setup, I don't think as much, quite as much. But I will say that the sound design of the game, I have to agree with Polo. It was amazing to me. It felt like, I remember running through a building, right, with the little squad that I had, and not a missile, but a shot missing.
Oh yeah,
and you could hear it in this game, and it's not like that Call of Duty where you hit it, boom, where it's like almost like the standard as if someone got shot and it just muffles the sound a bit. It sounds like what a World War movie sounds like.
True.
You know what I mean? But it came from the angle, made me feel like I'm in the game. And the surround sound is just amazing. But I would also like to say that the thing I realized the most when playing this game was that there are multiple ways to play Battlefield, right? Call of Duty is very straightforward. Run and gun. and you're shooting, right? Unless you're playing like the open world battle royale mode, in which case you may play a little bit different there, but it's still very much so just run and gun in that philosophy. In this game, those roles mean something. They do something, and they can matter, especially in a large scale match.
Yeah.
I started off in the basic assault mode just because I was going to test each one to see which one I liked, which one felt good. I tested each one, and I think Polo and I had a very similar idea in terms of what felt good. But like, so assault, I think is great. And it's the one I think I got the most kills in general, right?
Same for me.
But I feel like run and gun just didn't necessarily feel fun, because while I think that was the mode I got the most kills in, it wasn't the mode that led me to victory.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Or made me feel like I was like helping.
A part of the team. Right, yep. Right. I switched to support. In support, I had the LMG. I'm helping, and I think it felt like I was getting people up faster.
Yeah, you do.
You know what I mean? I'm supplying ammo. I'm doing things that felt like I'm part of the team, bro. And I'm like, I'm like keeping people in a choke zone, right? You know, a choke zone, they're running through this little tunnel or where these stairs are, and they're trying to take over our capture point, and I'm mowing them down, you know what I mean? Slowing them down, and I'm getting, I see the points ranking up for support and suppressive fire. I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm doing something. And it felt good. I switched to recon, and it's telling me how, like, headshots with a sniper, you can't revive. And I'm like, okay, so this is gonna be fun. I'm in waiting, watching for these moments that I can do, and I'm taking these shots, and I see, you know, I get a couple of kills, and then I see another sniper scope.
Yep,
where I'm looking at, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is about to be a battle. And it's just it feels like
a completely different game.
It does. It feels like the gameplay is multifaceted, and that's beautiful. Now I will say that my experience was the first time I played a match, though, while I think everything looked beautiful, everything sounded beautiful, I felt like I was playing well. Like, I had no stuttering myself. Brother, did I see a lot of people like seeming to be like stuttering and janky. Like,
yeah, so it was a character bug. Like, the characters will do all this. That's not necessarily your computer. That was just the game having a particular bug, unfortunately.
Right, and I saw that in my first round. Like my second, third, and like fourth rounds, I didn't actually see it or see it that much. Yeah. So it was a minute thing. But in terms of actually, right, exactly that. But in terms of actual gameplay, bro, man, the game was fun.
Buttery.
It was so good. And I feel like it almost felt like comprehensive to like how to play. You know what I mean? It didn't feel out of pocket, or like it didn't have an identity. It had an identity, and if anything, it allowed you to have an identity within the game.
Absolutely. One thing I gotta say, there's a lot of people coming new to Battlefield, right? Because it got a lot of hype. Shout out to them for getting 500,000 players just on Steam, not counting the EA launcher where they got the beta codes from the Twitch shops or whatever. But 500,000 on Steam means it's insane. So it's very, very popular. However, what I did notice is that when you could tell when a new player was coming to play Battlefield, because they would play it like Call of Duty. And what I mean by that is they will just run a gun. Okay, they would die. When they would die, instead of understanding that if you look at the bottom of your screen, it shows you when there's a medic close by. Okay, if you see that number going down, don't auto res, because what that does is when you auto res, you die, and it takes away your tickets from the conquest modes. Like, tickets is, your life. So you could be,
how many lives your team is sharing?
Your whole team is sharing. So you could be winning in the capture point, right? You can have 3 capture points, they can have 2, but because your team is dying over and over and over again, because you decide that I'm just going to so I can get back into the action. I'm going to die and get back into the action. You're just chewing down tickets. So just, if you're playing Battlefield 6, okay, understand that when you're dead and you see that bottom part and you see that number ticking down, it's showing you that medics are nearby. And they're coming close to you. They're trying to come close to you, because there's been so many times still when I'm running to get somebody to res them, and I'm charging up my defibrillators and I'm going to res them, and then they just because they hold down the button. I can see them holding down the button to completely end their life. And I'm like, oh, we're just wasting so many tickets. Give me time to get there and I'll get you. But there's nothing more satisfying, Till, than seeing you got a street and you got 2 buildings on the side of that street and you got your squad. There's 2 people in your squad down, throwing a smoke bomb, running in that smoke bomb, pulling them. As you're pulling them, you heal them, bow. And you grab the other one, grab your defibrillator, bow. And you see them support points go up. There's nothing more satisfying than that, because then you feel like you are contributing to the team because they don't take away the tickets. That's 2 kills that you just saved, 2 tickets that you just saved from 2 people getting downed. It's just an awesome feeling, man. It's great.
And like I said, it puts more emphasis on the role play.
Yep.
You're playing a role for a reason.
Yep.
It's going to be important to have a sniper for the exact reason of that. Mm-hmm. It's going to be important to have a medic because you want to keep people alive. And I just imagine, hear me out, as the game, once it fully releases and as it matures and more people play it, you're going to get less and less of those people who are running and gunning. Mm-hmm. Though that demographic is going to completely fall off. Yeah. And I'm not going to say completely, but for the most part, because I'm going to say people are going to pick it up and drop it, pick it up and drop it kind of scenario. But when you think about it, that the like you were talking about with community, the community who's going to play the game is going to take it a lot more serious and say, okay, let's play the game like it's meant to be played. And bro, I can imagine it's going to be so amazing. Yeah. It felt good, sound good, played good. I'm excited already.
It's the only game where you can go in. Sometimes you could be 27-7, or you could be 1-27 and still have fun. As far as killing deaths.
I had a dude that was like zero kills, 0 deaths, but like 60 assists.
Yeah.
You know, people who had no kills, but was out there literally probably just saving lives. Yep. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it makes a difference because you can win that match because of that. You know what I mean? And it just, like I said, it sets a tone for that. You play, it's almost like a second life sim. Like you playing the life you want to play in this game, bro. What life do you want to play?
Militarily, yeah, for sure.
I'm telling you, it was so cool.
I can't wait to just get it and play the story. I'm so glad the story is back. I'm looking forward to this big time. So October 10th, 4 days before, when my birthday? October 14th, right? Yeah. 4 days before my birthday.
Right.
So
that's your birthday.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's go address the community, Tell. We have 2 comments, one from episode 3 and one from episode 4 from 2 of our listeners, one of them being family. Episode 3, we're going to start with episode 3, the Rob Stone comment. He says episode 3 was about us talking about DLC versus mods and you know, how you feel about DLC versus mods. Rob Stone, which is a Patreon producer on our Mic Check Waifu Anime podcast, he says, on DLC versus mods, I am happy to buy DLC. It means I enjoy the game, and I assume that it is it's better for the developer as I'm paying them extra to support the game, and they create content for cheaper than making a whole sequel. So I bought Tales of Arise and Final Fantasy 16 expansion packs and all of Crusader Kings 3 expansions, which, holy crap, Rob Stone, that's expensive. Crusader Kings got a lot of expansions. Where I feel like I'm getting a bang for my buck and have already got more value out of the game than I paid for it. Someday, I even finished them. I may even finish them. That's funny. And if it is something I like to, like a costume DLC, then it depends on if I'm feeling like throwing the developers a bone. But most of the times, I'm not forced as I play single player. However, I usually buy the collector's edition of a game, and it is and if it is only on sale for £5, oh, I forget he's across the pond. And he said mods I use less often, generally only quality of life or immersion, civilization in Crusader Kings, or total overhaul stuff for the Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, and historical mods for Paradox games. I love Paradox games. We're going to have a conversation about that. That said, I only resort to them when I'm done with the game. Honestly, with most games, I just play it as it intended for by the developers. Yeah, I agree with that. And then you want to hit up our brethren there?
All right. Our bro, Kyle Wolf, CJ, as some may know him.
Follow him on Twitch. His link will be inside the show notes. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yes, I am excited for Ninja Gaiden 4. We were talking about Ninja Gaiden and Darksiders 4.
In episode 4 excited of the podcast, by the way.
In episode 4, right? That's a lot of 4s. 444. I'm excited for Darksiders 4. The first game series I ever got into was the Mega Man X series. I've beaten every game from Mega Man X to Mega Man X8, Mega Man 0, Mega Man 0 2 through 4, Mega Man 0 ZX, and Mega Man ZX Advent Children. We'll go into more detail about other series I'm into soon. Keep it up, brothers. Good job, SAY.
SAY.
That's wild, bro. But I remember, so I've always been like a Mega Man fan. Mm-hmm. And before I like met you guys, including like, CJ, mm-hmm. I really only played Mega Man by myself. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I feel like I didn't really know anybody who played Mega Man other than me. And it mostly the fact is like I played more games than anybody I know around me to begin with.
At that time, yeah.
At that time. So when I first met like you guys and CJ played Mega Man, I was like, okay, so I'm not the only one.
It's funny because I didn't know you guys played it until y'all talked about it, but I was always the Battle Network guy. Like I love Mega Man Battle Network so much.
And I played Battle Network too. And to be fair, you and Keith mm-hmm. are the ones who put me on the Battle Network. And I knew so Keith. Good. I knew Keith longer than anybody.
Right.
But I didn't even know he played Battle Network. So it was like we had to get introduced to Polo, and Polo was like, hey, y'all play Battle Network? And was like, so Keith like, yeah, I've been playing So where? Ain't nobody told me. But that's the thing is that it just goes to show that gaming, like I said, a game like Mega Man that has so many different variations of it, you know what I mean? You can be on one side of the spectrum and never even know.
Exactly.
But that's kind of crazy to think about all those games back then that kind of do have that little bit of duality like that.
Yeah. Honestly, they're all so unique. I mean, the X is a little bit more closer to the original, SNES Mega Man games, but there's so many different types of Mega Man. I unironically love the series, but I only love the series for the tactical stuff like Battle Network, and I didn't really get into the X series until y'all. I knew nothing of them, to be honest, at all, which is crazy to think about, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure you follow Kyle Wolf on Twitch. Again, his link will be in the show notes, on the description of the YouTube video, and the show notes of the Spotify podcast link as well. So yes, he plays a lot of Tekken, very competitive in Tekken, very good at Tekken. So make sure y'all do that. We really appreciate that.
And do you want to hit the last comment from Kilo?
Last comment from Kilo?
Yeah. Kilo, he dropped a comment on Game Plan episode 4 in the Discord.
Oh, in Discord. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to get it? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't
Polo. I'd be interested in a vid or podcast or whatever dedicated to Guild War 2 to see if it's for me and get better understanding of the game. I feel you on the Yakuza series. I dabble a bit into 0 and 7 like a dragon, but I fell off for whatever reason and never went back. I copped the whole series on GOG for like $20 last year, GOG, and I've been planning to run through the series sometime soon. Like Tell, I've been running on my free time, Parasite Eve on my Steam Deck. It's a series I tried to get into when I was a young boy, but whatever reason, it scared the shit out of me. That game, Fear Effect, and OG Resident Evil, and I couldn't understand the combat at the time. I've been wanting to run through the series now that I'm much better with games as an adult and big fan of horror games. Side note, Silent Hill F does look really good. I hope it's as good as Silent Hill 2 remake that dropped last year. But I think I'm going to join y'all on the Trails series, especially since they're coming out with Trails 1 remake, and play that on Switch 2 or Steam Deck.
Yeah, the Trails remake I'm so into. I'm really into, because that's honestly where it starts. Those remakes that's coming out, that's where it canonically start the whole thing. And that, again, I said this last week, but that world is massive. It's huge. As far as Guild Wars 2, I have to get that video this week. There's no question that I'm getting that video done this week. And then the Yakuza series. please, y'all, please try to, Kilo, if you can, you might have to put some other stuff on the back burner because it is an investment. However, I will say this: I can even give you this knowledge. If I go to my Steam, and I'm gonna drop my my friend code in the Steam here too, so you can see. But if I go to my Steam and I just go down to my Yakuza, I can tell you how long it took me to beat them, and it's gonna take. So it took me. Okay, forgive me for this one. This is kind of inflated because they had a game mode in Yakuza 0 that I got addicted to, that I spent like 20 hours in. But my playtime for Yakuza 0 is 36 hours. Now, it didn't take me that long. Again, I got addicted to, because you get this club, this hostess club that you get to run, and I was addicted to that. Okay. But Kiwami, it only took me 15 hours. Kiwami 2, it took me 23 hours. Yakuza 3, it took me 14 hours, which you could just rush that one. Yakuza 4, 16 hours. Yakuza 5, 21 hours. Yakuza 6, 18 hours. And then Like a Dragon was some of my longest because I did everything in that game. 83 hours.
That's not bad though.
I mean, yeah, and I was deep. And I was very, 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 very deep into that one. And then you got Like a Dragon, The Man Who Erased His Name, because you have to pay that as a part of the series, 24 hours. Infinite Wealth, which is the second version of Like a Dragon. It took me 113 hours. I also did everything in that as well. And then Like a Dragon, which is the latest one, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, it took me 38 hours. I enjoyed every last one of these games.
Yeah.
I mean, every last one.
I remember him gushing about it.
Bro. And I cried so much, bro. And it's so worth it. The combat gets better and better as it goes on. It's rough because going from Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2, the combat is like remastered. So it's beautiful. It's perfect. It's great combat. And then you get to Yakuza 3, which is just a slightly up-res version of Yakuza 3. And it goes back to that PlayStation 3 feeling combat, which is, it's a downgrade. But like I said, you could rush that one in 14 hours and be done with it. But yeah, it's worth it, man. It's definitely worth it. Sorry. Thanks for letting me.
Anytime, brother. You ain't never got to worry. Anytime.
Shout out to Kilo for dropping that. Make sure you join our Discord. The link, again, is at the top of this description of this video. So join the Discord. The conversations there are awesome. We appreciate that. And you can also get our Respec Gaming Discord tag too. So if you just go to our Discord, pull the drop down tag and hit server tag, you can add the spec tag to your name in Discord. It's pretty cool. All right. Moving on, Tail, shall we? Let's talk news, man. I think we should save the first news topic second, because that's going to go right into the news. The
critical slice.
Yeah.
Critical hit. Right.
Critical slice. All right. Let's talk about this former BioWare producer discussing remasters for the Dragon Age trilogy. What's that about?
So there's a former producer for BioWare who was talking about how at the time of his employment with BioWare, that BioWare had reduced the staff and cut down to basically become a one game at a time studio, where they were in production for working on like Mass Effect 5. Well, what he had pitched was that they do a trilogy for Dragon Age, release it as a trilogy, which even though it wasn't really a trilogy, that they should release it as a trilogy. Mostly for the fact that because it had a fourth game that wasn't necessarily well received, but released as a trilogy, kind of like not remake it, but remaster.
Wait,
and
trilogy?
Yes, he said
they're counting Inquisition into that.
Yes.
Okay.
But basically to say that the game would be repolished, essentially, not remade, but like just kind of spruce it up a bit, make it look better, and do some fixes and whatnot, and use that to kind of bolster their fan base and team, so that when they work on other projects, they would have more to facilitate the building of like another game within BioWare Studios, which I think as an overall game plan, getting income into your team so that you can actually build better games isn't a bad idea. And I do think that is a benefit of things like remasters, but it has to be with respect. some love and respect put in that game for us to even want to buy it. Now, I am a fan of the Dragon Age series. I have only played 2 of them, but I think I really enjoyed them. Now, to take that a step further, I'm a Mass Effect fan. I have played all of them, and they are amazing, amazing, amazing games. I don't care.
To use word.
I understand. I legit don't care though. I'm okay. You're not wrong, but and that's my fandom, because sometimes I'll overlook bad things because I'm a fan.
There's a lot wrong with Andromeda though, but it wasn't even made by the original BioWare studio, so I guess we shouldn't count it.
Right, but that's also what they're talking about, is how and it was not a well received game. So doing a trilogy like remaster for both Dragon Age and Mass Effect could help them fund the creation of like Mass Effect 5.
Dragon Age Origins, I think, which is the ones you're talking about, you played. And Dragon Age, was it 2 or was it Inquisition you played?
I believe it was 2.
Okay. With you had a set character, you couldn't create your character, that was a set one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think those 2 is where Dragon Age should have been done. To be honest, Inquisition wasn't bad. I mean, let me clarify. Inquisition wasn't bad, but that it could have used some work with respect, obviously. And then when Inquisition DLCs came out, ironically enough, is what made that game good. Like the DLCs cemented Dragon Age Inquisition as being a good game, when prior to that it was kind of like unfinished and like what at the end of the story. So it's kind of like off because of what happened at the end of it. But then it got better with subsequent DLCs.
Right.
I would love for them to do that though, to remaster those 3, like bring up Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 to the quality of Dragon Age Inquisition, and then use that to create something else. But I think Dragon Age is done now, and to be honest, I'm okay with that, man. Just let it go. Let it go. It's after, and mind you, I am one of the rare ones that played all of the new Dragon Age game. I played all of it. I did everything. I got like the, I guess, proper ending and everything. And I am the rare one that actually enjoyed playing the game, even though I do have some gripes with some of the dialogue, obviously. But
just fair.
Well, definitely fair. I played it all, got everything I needed to get the good ending, and I was happy with it. But I don't do it no more, because you can see over time that it deteriorated from Origins. Origins was such a perfect game, in my opinion, man. It was so good, so dark and gritty, and it felt like did you watch the Dragon Age cartoon on Netflix?
No,
we didn't even watch it for the podcast, huh? It was that was very, very dark as well, and that's what Dragon Age felt like in Dragon Age Origins. Like it's super dark, like people get sacrificed and dying all over the place. It was just awful. It was a sad place to be in. And then over time, we slowly became more campy and more, kind of like servicey, which shout out to EA for that, I guess. But respectfully, it's intriguing though. I'm very much intrigued in remastering Dragon Age Origins, even if they give us the Mass Effect treatment where they like just up-res it and get some better lighting, better textures. I'd be okay with that too.
And I believe that's what because this article comes from IGN. I believe that is what they spoke about. Is it would mostly just be a reskinning, recoloring, overall improving motion and stuff like that. Sprucing up things that would make the game just overall look and feel better. While if, like, for instance, for a game like Dragon Age Origins where the story is good and they may do minor mechanic fixes, right? Because a remake would be fixing all of them or changing the entire mechanics and sometimes like even an entirely new engine, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. That would require basically that's a whole new game.
Yeah, exactly.
So to speak. Whereas a remaster requires less work, but the outcome for it or payback for it could be huge for them to bolster, like we said, another game coming out in the future.
I'm for it. I'm for it. This is just because Dragon Age Origins deserve it. Because like right now, if you want to play Dragon Age Origin, definitely play it on PC, and then play it on PC with mods, because you will need the mods to help honestly run it. Because it I don't even think it scale up to a 1440p monitor, let alone anything else, because it's just so old, you know. And the PC port wasn't that great to begin with, to be fair. All right, moving on. Should we mix it up a little bit? Should we go into new and upcoming releases?
I do think we should do that, just so we can slide the topic into this.
My man. All right, let's do it. So for new and upcoming releases, there wasn't much that I was too interested in, but I did find something that seems interesting, that may be interesting to our community. So one is Midnight Murder Club. Midnight Murder Club comes out August 14th, or the 14th of August for Rob Stone, on PC and PS5. And this is interesting, because let me give you the synopsis for this one, if you don't mind, Tell. The summary is a hide and seek, shoot in the dark, heart pounding, and hilarious multiplayer FPS fun. Trust your senses and overcome your fears as you're armed with a flashlight and a revolver. Then set against your friends in a pitch black mansion with immersive proximity chat and surprises around every corner. Welcome to Midnight Murder Club. You've been invited to the Midnight Murder Club, an elite group that gives you nothing but a gun and a flashlight before sending you into the darkened halls of a mansion. Conceal your identity behind a mask and join your friends in a game of perception, deception, and sharpshooting. In the darkness, every decision counts. 6 guests, 1 deadly game. The difference between light and dark is important, as the Midnight Club's members are forced to choose between the safety of the darkness and the risk of clicking on a flashlight. Spotting someone else gives you crucial information, but if you can see them, then that means they can see you. 2. Rely on your other senses and navigate the mansion and find your opponents. Whisper in the dark, full proximity chat leads to tense and hysterical moments as you feel your way through the mansion's dark corridors. It's pretty cool. That's all I'm gonna read because it's very long, but it's very cool. It's reminiscent of like these games that became popular, and I believe it's the start of it was during the pandemic where these types of games became popular, like Among Us, and now like you got stuff like Peak. You have what's that other one that everybody's
doing? Essentially party games now. Yeah.
This new type of party game where it's catered to like entertainment, like the streamer per se. You see a streamer player, they having a blast with a bunch of other streamers, and then you buy it, and then you realize that you don't have 6 friends, respectfully. so you can't
go to
enjoy
Discord
it as much
so we can have more than 6 friends.
Yeah, right. So, but it seems interesting because, again, imagine being in this mansion, you walking around in the dark, and you're like, oh shit, I can't see though. You turn on that flashlight for just a second, and it tells right there, pow, with a revolver into the last man standing. Pretty cool concept. It seems like it would be fun if we had 6 other people, but I don't think we do.
We got like 4.
Right.
Well, not. Well, 4 might be all we need. Is it 6 players or is it 8 players? Okay, we don't have a consistent 6 people.
Yeah, true. Very true. It seems interesting though. Very, very interesting.
It does look interesting. I'm actually, I think I'm gonna check that out. Might just turn it on one day just for the heck of it.
That's the $20 game.
Yeah, right. Now, my game that I brought that interested me, and I'm kind of surprised. Maybe I kind of thought Polo would be interested in this because he likes the single player kind of like RPG game similar to this. But I also enjoyed God of War, and this kind of also gave me God of War vibes.
It does. Got God of War vibe. Let's do it.
Echoes of the End. It's a third-person action adventure game.
It comes out August 17th, by the way.
It comes out August 17th on PC, Xbox, and PS5. And it looks. I'm just gonna go right off the top. It looks amazing. Now, essentially, it is you're playing as one individual character. It's not a game where you're flipping back and forth between other characters.
Okay.
At least from what it appears to be. But your main character is a woman named Ren, who is a warrior and also uses magic, and essentially, it's going to be a game where you're playing and puzzle solving. Like I said, similar, very God of War kind of vibes. And that drew me in. I will be copping this off top. Not even gonna lie to you. This will be a game I'm going to get. But it is produced and developed by, I believe it's Merkur Games. And it's developed by Merkur Games and published by Deep Silver. But this game does look amazing. I'm not sure necessarily on the track record for Merkur or Deep Silver, but I do sincerely. To me, this game just looks like thoroughly enjoyable.
Deep Silver is a publisher that I'm a fan of because they're like THQ Nordic. They publish those games that are like sort of obscure, but like kind of like AA type style games that are quality. I mean, they did Dead Island. They published that. They got quite a bit of things. Dead Island, Kingdom Come Deliverance, they published. Undisputed, they published it, which is that boxing game. Dead Island 2, Payday 3. Scars Above, which is another AA game that's pretty good. Goat Simulator was a very popular game, unironically. Outward, which is a game I absolutely love. If you haven't played Outward, you should check that out. Great RPG game. Yeah, but Deep Silver is pretty good. They're a pretty good publisher.
Also, I think I found the MMO I was talking about earlier.
What was that?
I think it's called Aeon.
Yeah, Aeon. Yeah.
Aeon. Okay.
You get wings and stuff, and you fly up on. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a side conversation we had. I forgot we didn't have that conversation on the podcast. That's funny. Another game that I put in there was because I figured the community would probably be interested in this, and it is Bendy Lone Wolf. Bendy Lone Wolf looks interesting because it's made with that cartoon aesthetic, kind of like a Cuphead, but developer and the same publisher. But it is Bendy Lone Wolf tests your ability to survive against ever increasing odds. Monsters and obstacles emerge from every direction as you journey into the rubber house halls of the world's most evil animation studio. Every day is a challenge. It's a roguelike, and I figured, our folks might be interested in it. It comes out August 15th. August 15th on PS5, PS4, Xbox One, the Series X, and Nintendo Switch.
It is reminiscent of Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie. True.
So that will be that'll be what it I think it looks the most like, but just the super polished 2025 version that they do. Yeah, I have seen this game quite a few times.
I think you've seen the other version of it though. The single player like scary part of it.
Yes,
I have too. This is the first time I heard the roguelike version of it though.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like I've seen this game quite a few times, but I haven't actually seen a roguelike version. But sure, I'm down for a fun little adventure.
All right, now let's go to that news topic I have, just going to lead perfectly into Critical Hit. So the news topic I found, which was ironic because Till gave us this Critical Hit topic a couple of weeks ago, but this news topic is about ChatGPT just became a live service game. And it's based off the fact that OpenAI has launched a long-awaited AI update, ChatGPT 5 on August 7th. It made lofty promises like a PhD-level intelligence. But within 24 hours, the tool's most devoted users were cataloging its many bugs and shortcomings on Reddit. The ChatGPT fandom started melting down. CEO Sam Altman responds by promising to let customers start using older GPT models again. And by August 11th, Altman was in full screen cap apology, trying to fix the bad vibes, I guess, of ChatGPT 5. So basically what they're saying is that ChatGPT 5 came out. It was buggy. It was a mess. And because of that, they had to do the apology letter that gaming companies do whenever they drop a live service game. That's like, oh, we're sorry to release this in such a bad state. We're thankful for your feedback. Blah 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 blah. It's ironic that ChatGPT 5 came out and we got this topic that we're going to talk about here shortly, because the topic we have for Critical Hit is, what does AI look like in video games?
Now, this is, and I don't feel like our topics are always necessarily going to be controversial, but I do think that portions of this can be.
Yeah.
And let's just be real. With Respec, AI is going to have a give and take. Yeah. It's going to be here to stay for quite a while. But you also have to think about this. The AI that ultimately will be bad is going to be considered, I believe they call it AGI, which is going to be where the intelligence is self-generated, where it can create its own intelligence and its own motivations. We're not there yet. So let's talk about what we have here. What does AI look like in video games, right? We have a new graphics card that's going to have AI integration into it.
They do now.
Yeah. We have video games that will utilize things in terms of AI, and we've always had a pseudo AI, so to speak, right? Like when you play a video game, they ask what AI do you want to play? Like, let's say Smash Bros. You set the CPU level AI to like level 1 or level 9.
Yeah.
And that's going to determine how hard that AI fights. I fought plenty of AI bosses. Like, why is the AI cheating like this? Why is it so tough to beat? And the reality is it's not quite that.
Yeah, because it's coded within limits, right? It's coded by a person within limits to be as hard or as easy as, as the human person sets.
Precisely. So now we're at a point where AI will have a different kind of effect that we are not quite used to yet. And that's more or less what we plan on discussing here. So, what does AI actually look like in video games? And I think that's more about like what the part of this topic being is like the implementation.
Yeah. So So when AI first started coming around, there was a trend going around on Steam, because I pay attention. I've always paid attention to this type of stuff, even before thinking about making a podcast. But there was a trend going around as soon as AI started to hit and people started to do stuff with it, as far as like creating models, right? There was games that just was thrown up as shovelware on Steam of somebody creating like this quote unquote visual novel murder mystery thing, where you type or you talk to the AI, or you talk to the person on your microphone. You ask a question like, so did you see Red at the barn on Saturday? I forget what the game is called. It's on Steam somewhere, but it's not worth even giving a proper mention to with respect, but because it's honestly slop. But you talk on your microphone, and that character in there would be this Siri-esque person reading back to you, like, or talking back to you, based off of what you said, trying to answer your questions. And that was a cool idea. And that was one of the first implementations I saw of AI in video games. And I'm like, it seems like it could be cool, but this feels like it doesn't feel right. And
it needs polish.
And this was like 2-3 years ago when I saw this. So it's been a minute. Obviously AI is way better now, but I just think I'm concerned in a sense of like the implementation, because I'm worried that it is going to give bigger companies, who is all about numbers, who's all about how much money we can make, and it's very lucrative business, getting rid of people who literally makes the game, i.e. Larian Studios. Without those people developing and doing what they do for the game, it would just be, I think personally, with respect, AI slop. Because you can tell the difference even now, as advanced as AI is, you would be able to tell if somebody decides to like, let me just have AI make this part. And if they make that part, it's going to be as stiff and as I guess this may sound generic, but you don't feel the love within it, right? Like I feel the love in certain aspects of the games I play when it comes to, like, again, Yakuza or just any game that I love to play. Any game that I mentioned that was in my top 5 in episode 1 of this podcast. If you try to implement stuff like, oh, but we are revolutionizing the way we do AI, and you could talk to this AI person, it's never going to feel natural. It's never going to feel right, because that AI is AI. And I think AI will forever be AI, no matter how many times they update it to give it human cadence, like that one AI model Safari or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that still feels like AI. While right now AI is as bad as it's ever going to be, because it's only going to get better. I still think personally that is not going to ever feel humanized enough to where it can take over, or should take over, any piece of, like, the video game development piece, unless it's something like making unique trees, right? Implement unique trees within this video game, or grass blades, or whatever the case, making it easier for Tell to work on environments. I'm okay with that. But when it comes to, like, making the game, I'm not.
Right. And I think touching on the humanization, the personification of it is huge, because when you look at these things, there are games that we received already, like, what was it, Car X Street, that had AI voice acting.
That's right. It wasn't good.
Which for an independent developer, someone who can't do it by themselves, you know what I mean? You can't voice act every role by yourself. Yeah, you can apply a voice filter modifier kind of thing and try and do whatever you can. You can go on websites like Fiverr and pay a voice actor. But let's say for someone with limited funds but has this great game idea, they can't deliver it by themselves necessarily, whereas AI may be able to help them implement the ideas that they have on a budget. Car X Street did that, and it did not go over well.
No.
I do think that there were ways they could have done it better, but that did, like you said, it did not feel human. There was no warmth to any of the voices there. None.
I felt detached.
Yeah. And then you think about, while a game like Baldur's Gate didn't do it, and you feel all of that love in those characters when you talk to them, you feel like those decisions in the conversations you have, those feel like real characters because they were written by real people. You know what I mean?
Dude, sorry to interrupt, but you think about what Baldur's Gate, you bring up such a good point with Baldur's Gate, because what did Baldur's Gate do? Baldur's Gate brought these characters to life that everybody loved. Now, not only does everybody love the character Karlach and Shadowheart and et cetera, but they love the people who played those characters, and they brought those people into the gaming industry as personalities, and those people become other characters in other video games, and they get more business and more jobs, and they deliver the love they give, because guess what? Shadowheart is in Clair Obscur Expeditions 33, probably because Baldur's Gate. And she does a fantastic job. Imagine if they decided that Larian said, "No, we're going to use AI for this 11 Labs because it's going to save us tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars of paying VA voice actors."
Right.
She would have never become a personality. She probably would have never been discovered by the studio that created Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I wouldn't be emotionally invested in that because the voice actor wouldn't be as good. You know what I'm saying? It's a God. Sorry, Till, for interrupting you. I just had to get that.
No, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was going for. And you think about, like I said, that personification. You fell in love with that character because of what they did as a human. Now, one of the things, and this goes into the implementation and / benefit, well, a perceived benefit, because it might not actually be that, but it is something that is going to play out eventually, right?
Yeah.
Personify or personalized experiences and storytelling in video games, right? And I'm going to give an example of my first time experiencing this and seeing it myself, and how it kind of blew my mind, and I wish games did this kind of thing more. A personalized experience being that the game observes how you play and changes based off how you play. And the characters you interact with change how they interact with you based off how you've played the game. Now, there are games that already implement that, like good, bad, evil systems, that kind of thing, right? There is, I think, like the Shadow of Mordor that did a Nemesis system where basically you kill somebody or you don't kill somebody, but you got into a fight and that character levels up and gets stronger because they want to come back and fight you. I think about not Deltarune, but what is it called? They made the other previous game with it. Give me 1 second to look it up. But basically the game you would play a Undertale, but Undertale handled that in such a magnificent way that it is almost scary that you feel seen, you feel read. And for games to be able to implement that would be amazing. The scary part is how do you do that and make it feel real?
Great question. I think what it could, this is how it can be implemented and it can bring benefits. Okay. Obviously the environmental stuff to make environmentally creating environments easier. That's okay. That stuff we know that helps a lot, big time. But what I'm thinking is, let's take situations like you mentioned for Shadow of Mordor, where you build this small pocket of just an AI script, right? An AI script that does specifically something like a Nemesis system, or a script that's something like simming the AI, which I'm sure they do, but simming the AI in a sense of giving them life, but giving them life where it's more dynamic. And again, that already exists in games, because you can go back to fucking Grand Theft Auto 4 and where the NPCs have lives. But I'm talking like even in a more granular scope, right? To where it's based off of what happens in that world. So if a player bumps into your character, that character falls, they drop a cup of coffee, and instead of going to that destination that they were originally going to, they go to a dry cleaners or they go to a laundromat or something. Just that type of granular detail. Build pockets of script. That's just an example, but build pockets of script inside of the games using that type of AI to where I'm just using this as a lack of a better term because I'm not sure how this can work, but let's say ChatGPT creates it. Actually, I think I gave this video idea to Legal to see if he could make it, which he probably won't because he's the most unreliable, with respect, unreliable friend we have, and he knows this. That's all, we play like this all the time. But I told him this, and I probably shouldn't say it because it's going to get stolen, this idea. It's so ironic that we're having this conversation. Sorry, because I had this conversation with him today. I'm like, dude, you should make a video, because he was playing Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I'm like, you should make a video where you pay Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, where ChatGPT creates your entire character and you level up based off of what ChatGPT tells you to do, and see how that playthrough grows. I think that would be brilliant. But yes, doing stuff like that and inside of the video game, little pockets of that AI piece, like ChatGPT just being able to think in the game that this happened, now let me react this way, and not taking away from what a developer could do, because I don't think that'll take away a developer's job, because I still think you need a developer to implement that pocket of script or whatever the case may be. It'll just be revolutionary, right? I think that'll be just a huge step in games with AI, without it being the drawback, removing jobs from the game industry. We're trying to replace people. You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm gonna take your idea you just said, but do it for Pokemon.
No, because it wouldn't be as Pokemon isn't that complicated. You need something complicated. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, creating a character in that game I think it has like 55 classes now. That's right. Complicated. Even Baldur's Gate is too simple. I think if you do something as complicated as Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, where people would be like, oh shit, you mean to tell me that ChatGPT had to, okay, so he said this was the legal idea Legal had. God, I should cut this out because people are going to steal it. But he said that he told ChatGPT to create a character that's like a demon slayer and demon slayer. And the chat GPT came up with a whole thing. Okay, you want to get this class and you want a secondary spec into this class. And then at this level, you want to grab this spec. And at this, you know what I'm saying? Like you need something as complicated as D&D or a Pathfinder game mode to really showcase.
Build it out.
Yeah. Showcase the capabilities of that. But I think that'd be so fucking cool to do. Like
it would be amazing.
Really cool. But that's
one of the coolest.
Maybe I should cut that out so that it doesn't get stolen, huh?
No, man, it's you gotta let it rock, bro. One of the other things that I think we talked about though was how in a game like Smash Bros, right? You have the computer level 1 through 9, and then you think about games like Dark Souls, Evil Souls, or is it Demon Souls? Elden Ring, Lies of P, etc. Right?
Yeah.
These games don't have difficulties, but there is the idea of dynamic difficulty scaling, where the better you are, the game automatically kind of scales to that, and will put itself in a place that will challenge you every single time. Mm-hmm. And I will say that, like, for instance, as a Pokemon fan, this is something I've always wanted in a game where I don't have to ask the game to level up with me. I should be leveling up and the game should also be leveling up as I play. And it should be challenging me in a way in which, like, if I choose a fire starter, there are enemies who should be placed more frequently that might have a water Pokemon that just challenges me, or might have a ground Pokemon that just challenges me a little bit more. So I have to legitimately think of strategies to build around it. Now, there are other games that this could work out greatly for as well, where let's say a game like Mass Effect, where if you use snipers frequently, that your enemies will, let's say they hear about you throughout the galaxy and they're like, okay, this character constantly uses a sniper. Let's try and find a way to utilize our environment to get around that, or use weapons that fire rapidly so that we can kind of scare off the sniper effects and whatnot.
We could have a whole debate episode on this because I wholeheartedly disagree with that method of the implementation. And let me tell you why. Because you know what game does that already? Elder Scrolls. Specifically Oblivion. Oblivion does that, and it is the most terrible thing to ever experience when you're going around the world and the enemies are leveling up with you. But it's in this, maybe it's because it's just an older game. So because it's older, it's probably the reason. But when it level ups with you, it doesn't feel progressive at all. Like nothing about it feels progressive. It doesn't add challenge or anything like that. It doesn't do anything special. It doesn't. You don't get that sense of accomplishment. And the problem with the Pokemon reference is that what makes Pokemon so great is that you have the ability to go to areas and battle up and train up to be as good as possible, to then have a strategy to go towards that next Pokemon, the next area with that next trainer that is a rock type when you have your water types ready to go. And you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of randomly throwing, grass types, where there wouldn't be grass types because I have a party that has this amount of Pokemon, just wouldn't feel like Pokemon, and it wouldn't feel right. It wouldn't feel like it would take away from what the world of Pokemon is. Because as you know, Pokemon has these structured places for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you go to these different places, but I don't know, randomly throwing them places to AIify my abilities. It's not fun, I don't think.
Here's why I think the wording is important, right? Because what Elder Scrolls is doing is not dynamic. The point in it being dynamic is the fact that it is scaling off of your actual talent, your actual skill, not just the levels you gain within the game. If you become a master at the sword in Elder Scrolls, you still technically are gaining levels. It doesn't mean that the people you're fighting become better at defending against swords. It doesn't mean that they're looking at what your strength is and saying, hey, let's counter that strength so that this person has to be a little bit more diverse in what they're leveling.
What you just said about the Pokemon one, though. What you just said about Pokemon is exactly what you would be doing.
Right. So what I'm saying is that in, like, for instance, Pokemon games, right? It is realistic to think that if you want to go catch a water Pokemon, what kind of Pokemon are you going to use? So a trainer who might want to have a ton of water Pokemon is probably going to have at least one grass Pokemon. It's probably going to have at least one electric Pokemon, because that would make it easier to be able to catch or obtain more of those Pokemon that you prefer, that you might want. So
it'd be easier for you to kill them.
Yeah, but in the real world, you're not necessarily killing them. I have a ton of Pokemon that I'm not killing, just using a false swipe or whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. So the thing is that when I play a game, I play a Pokemon game. In the beginning of the game, I don't expect the battles that I'm having to have much strategy. But when I go to a gym leader, let's say I'm fighting Brock. Brock doesn't really have a strategy. He's just using Rock Throw, he's using Bide, and he's using Defense Curl. Mm-hmm. The strategy is I want to have as much defense as possible. So I'm going to use a special attacker and blow your defense away. If my very first battle, I immediately start using strategies to implement and I destroy all the trainers before I get to Brock, it would make sense to me that Brock uses an item like Assault Vest that boosts special defense, because he knows that I'm coming with strategy. And he, as a gym leader, should be implementing a strategy to defeat Pokemon that show an absolute advantage or dominance over his typing. Okay,
so again, the problem that's wrong with that is that that's not, and this is just, Now I'm getting a little too granular, because it's just not what Pokemon is, because it's a kid's game. So in a sense, we can't take what essentially is a kid's game and turn it into this Dark Souls.
Ultra, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's fair. I'm using this as an example.
Right,
I'm not
right.
saying
that's why I had to send a caveat for myself. I'm like, okay, so I'm getting a little too granular, because it just wouldn't feel right. It's a Pokemon game that's supposed that you work through. But as far as like, maybe there could be an option for that. Maybe you could set like a dynamic battle option to where they would do something like that. That could be cool. That's a cool idea, maybe. But why would that be fun though?
It's fun to me. It's like playing against a chess AI. The chess AI is going to respond to you in a manner in which it's like, okay, this person played this move. What's the most logical move? The issue with the chess AI is that it doesn't have a human component. Yeah. So it's like, okay, Polo made this move. He moved his knight here. He wouldn't expect this move. The chess AI is just going to make the most efficient move.
Yeah. And isn't it like only one person that ever beat the chess robot?
I think at the highest level, at the Grandmaster level, I think it might be more than one, but
I don't know.
Grandmaster level, they're not beating the chess bot regularly.
No, hell no. But
Magnus is probably up there though.
Yeah, like I just don't. Again, I don't like level scaling things. I don't like things adjusting to what I do AI-fied, because again, it wouldn't. I guess again, if you code the AI to say, give it a winnable chance, give the player a winnable chance of 75%, 80%, but still do everything you can to make it as difficult as you can. That I don't know. I think the human touch is what makes games. You know what I mean?
And I wouldn't even give a percentage, because a percentage is what would make it difficult. I would say something like, let's say, and I'm only using Pokemon as a reference still, it would be like, use an extra item that you would not have used before, right? It would say use a special type attack move that your Pokemon would know at this level, but would normally not use specifically or have just because, right? Add like if an Onyx would know Dragon Pulse, right? Give your Onyx Dragon Pulse because it does a 50 or like 40 base damage no matter what. Just to anything. It's not about whether the fact that the move is effective. It's more about the surprise element and giving the player a reason to have a challenge, or giving a player a reason to actually strategize instead of just dozing through and just beating the game super easy, because of the fact that you already know that these characters don't necessarily have a strategy, and you can just form one and say, boom, because I'm human, I can form a strategy and blow through this super easy.
Do they have more of a strategy in later games though? I thought they did.
Only for gym leaders, literally only for gym leaders. And that's what I'm saying, is that the gym leaders could be more difficult because, like, for instance, a lot of the toughest battles specifically for Pokemon are for battles you don't know. And they'll always tell you, like Red, who you found on the top of a mountain and you didn't know he was there. You walk up on him, talk to him, find out he got level 90 Pokemon. Cynthia, you didn't know that you were going to walk into this random building in this random town that you just walked into, and the Elite Four gym leader or Elite Four champion is there, and she's got all her Pokemon leveled up higher than when you beat her in the Elite Four. You know what I mean? She's just got an entirely tougher team. So the idea is that the issue is that it's surprise battles that are challenging, but if you are going to look for a challenge, they're almost never there.
Well, I mean, if you're going to look for a challenge, that's how you find Red and Cynthia. But I honestly think that's best for a Pokemon game. I really do. I really do. Because you have other maybe it's just because I'm thinking of a more modern day Pokemon, but you have other means.
I got to go to PvP.
Challenge. Exactly.
I got to go to PvP for a challenge.
Exactly.
But not everybody is like me, where they specifically want to go online and battle other people. Like, you know what I mean? Totally. That's what I'm saying. Like, not everybody is there where they want that.
True.
And
that'd probably be me.
And I think what you bring up is a good idea for what the drawbacks might be, like the technical difficulties and issues, is that you can say, hey, I want to make this dynamic battle system or dynamic difficulty system, right? But what are the issues with that? Where the game itself might say, hey, I'm just never going to let you win.
Yep.
AI is like, I'm never going to let you win. And it doesn't matter. And now the player is hard stuck at a point where they shouldn't even be stuck in because they're only an hour into the game.
You think about it, man. It's regardless of how you spin it, it's always going to be percentage based. No matter how you swing it, that AI is going to say, I'm going to take this percentage of this and do this and do that. It's always going to be percentage based. And the one thing I hate, and this comes from the experience I have of playing 20,000 hours of Black Desert Online or whatever, however many hours I got, percentages fucking suck.
Bro.
It sucks so bad, bro. It's the worst feeling in any game ever. And
because it's a roll of that percentage every time. You know what I mean?
Time, yeah.
If you could just see that percentage get ticked down every time, like, okay, I got 100%, and you watch it get ticked down every time. If you only got a 1% chance, I only have to do this at least 100 times, right? I'm gonna get it at my 100th time, bare minimum. And then you might feel better about it.
That's not even the case, because
it's not the case.
It's a 1 out of 100 times each time. You know what I'm saying? So it's
each time. So this could be 100 different times, and you had a 1% chance each time, but you got to run it 400 times to get it once.
Yeah, exactly. I can't stand that shit, man. And I guess that's where my PTSD pulled up when you mentioned, dynamically changing the Pokemon trainers that you come across into the world. Mm-hmm. I get the concept of that, though. I do, now that you broke it down like that. But the last question on this topic is it worth it in the long term? And I think, going back to my example of using the AI to create a life of the person, again, like I said, if I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 6 and I bump into a character and that character is holding a cup of coffee and that coffee spills on them, instead of them going to where they were going to go, they got to go to the dry cleaners instead. If AI is that capable and do that for immersion purposes, I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it. However, that's it. That's about as far as I want it to go. Or something like what you said with the Nemesis system, doing something like that again. I'm all for it. I do not want it taking people's jobs. I want it what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, it's late. We're recording. It's 1:00 a.m. Supplement. Add to, yes, to the job, to making Tail's job easier and his future development gig. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So like to where Tail ain't got to create 17 trees before he start placing those 17 trees. You can have the AI create 1,700 different looking trees that he could then just go place into his environments. You know what I'm saying? So that is the kind of AI that I want to have. Okay. What about you?
And I 100% agree with that. Because my idea would be more of like the AI needs to be minimalistic. To where the fact that if it is adding to your game, it almost doesn't feel like AI did much.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's not even there.
Yeah, like and that's kind of even how, like I said, my implementation of the difficulty would be that where I don't want it to feel like it did much, while the experience may be different for other people. I don't want it to feel like much has changed. And if it feels like it's changed, then I feel like AI has done too much, where AI is now capable of taking your job. And I don't want AI taking jobs. I want it to remain a tool that is usable and still developing in terms of like how we can utilize it within the field. Because that human touch is what's going to make, like we talked about before, it's going to make the game feel warm.
Yeah.
It's going to make the game feel like this was made by a person who legitimately cares about the process of what the player is experiencing while playing that game.
Making the game feel warm is a perfect word, a perfect term. A perfect statement for that. Honestly, it truly is. Because when I was watching those gameplay videos of those slot games that I mentioned at the beginning of this topic, it just felt cold. Dude was like, okay, so did you see him towards the circus tent around that time? The AI would just be like, did I see them around that certain time? Maybe yes. And it's like, what? This is the game. Mean? This is the game you want me to play? Like, I'm not playing it. I'm just talking to this thing that's not responding to anything I'm saying virtually. And again, that could be the implementation. This was 3 years ago, and I know it was terrible. AI was bad. It is nothing but better now, but I'm just not for that, because that gets rid of developers that can properly place dialogue options, and get rid of voice actors that can properly say and convey feelings in their emotion and their dialogue. And like, I don't know, there's ways you can make a game like this that could be cool, where you could still use real people and it could still work. So, all right.
Agreed.
Great topic, Tel. Great topic. I love that one. That was fun. All right, moving on, last but certainly not least. Game over. What we doing this week, Tel?
Well, let me see. Today is the 12th. Hopefully I will be playing Echoes of the End.
Oh, okay. This week?
Yeah. Because that looks very fun. That's something I legitimately want to play.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll get to that. In the meantime, though, I'm not actually sure what I'm going to play. I think I'll end up playing something tomorrow, though, just to bring something, to do something different for the channel.
Okay. And I'm going to make my Guild Wars 2 video for Kilo.
Y'all heard that
this week. And I'm going to play more Guild Wars. I'm in Path of Fire DLC, which is the 4th DLC technically, I think. I might have 6 more to go. So slowly making my way through, but I'm going to be grinding out Path of Fire to get more mounts. And I'm going to make that video this week so y'all can understand why I have a very, very strong love for this game. But this has been Respect Games. Make sure you respect games. Bro, I'm still working on the ending. But thank y'all so much for listening. We appreciate it. Subscribe, like, rate us 5 stars. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.